I love these fabulous children's astrology books by Donna McGarry. They're delightful, whimsical, and entertaining. Visit zodiacs.com. Hello, fabulous Gemini. Welcome to your horoscope for the month of September 2014, Love Focus. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. This is such an important month where it comes to love for you, but it really is just the start of a more extended process that's going to take you well into November. So I'd like you to think about the journey as, yes, having some really important moments this month, some really high moments this month, but really it is part of a continued journey that's going to take you well into the fall, actually. And the reason I say that is because we have a very important new moon taking place in a part of the sky for you that has to do with the feelings of love. It has to do with that flutter, that aliveness, the joy of connecting with another person. And this new moon is happening at the very beginning of its respective sign and does speak with Mars as well, adding to a sense of passion, adding to a sense of aliveness, if you will. But what we also have happening in the same part of the sky is Mercury. And Mercury really is very interesting energy. Mercury is fast, as is your ruling planet. It is fast, lots of stimuli, lots of different energies, lots of different ideas as well. And what Mercury is going to do this month is enter what astrologers call shadow. And so I've spoken about this, I've spoken about this in the weekly horoscopes. I did do a video based on a viewer question on Mercury retrograde as well. So you can check out that video about Mercury retrograde where I talk about actually how Mercury, when Mercury goes retrograde, it isn't just the 3 weeks that Mercury is retrograde that matters, but about 3 weeks beforehand, Mercury starts on a path that will later be retraced and then retraced again. So really a Mercury retrograde or any planet going retrograde is essentially that planet moving over a part of the sky that will be moved over 3 times. And it is at the beginning of the first move that you really want to be paying attention. And that's smack dab in the middle of the month. Issues related to love that take place in the middle of the month will be returned to in the later part of next month. So again, I'm going to talk about this a lot more in the weekly horoscopes in the weeks to come over the course of this month and into next, and in the monthly horoscopes as well. But really, I would invite you to jot down whatever is happening in the middle of the month where it comes to love, whether that's a first connection, whether that's an inspiration, whether that's you seeing a certain commercial and that inspires a certain idea. I would really encourage you to make a note on your calendar and then return to or consider what takes place for you in the later part of October and how that is actually going to speak to events that transpire in the middle of this month. Now, it may come off as relatively unassuming, and it may be that you actually need the new moon to hit, if you will. You need the new moon to actually occur in order to have a fuller appreciation of what types of lessons the universe is encouraging you. But it looks like new ideas are going to rise around that time. One thing I do want to advise also, because Mercury is going to be entering shadow and Mercury will retrograde, Mercury will also be speaking, dancing really, with Uranus in the opposite sign as well. And when I look at this particular conversation, a couple of things come to mind. One is friends may have a little bit too much of an influence on love right about now. And in some ways, this can be great, like when they introduce you to a certain person. In other ways, not so great when they end up being the deliverer of messages that maybe you wish you didn't have to get. One thing I do want to say is, and one really great advice I can give you that's been given again and again over millennia, is don't kill the messenger, okay? Because ultimately this is about the truth coming to light and you having an honest conversation around this, looking at how you're actually perceiving a situation, where you're on and where you are not. And this really is having those light bulb moments. And so if a friend should bring you information about somebody that you're dating, somebody who's in your sphere especially, but somebody whom you feel that strong connection with, if a friend brings you any kind of information like that, value it, thank your friend for it, okay? And then proceed to investigate and decide what it is you're going to do. When I see a sky like this coming up this month and into the next, if any kind of new meetings occur, it tends to denote that you are not really seeing the whole picture just yet, and you may have to give it a little bit of time. If you have any kind of breakups that occur right about now in the second part of this month and beyond into next month, they tend not to stick. There tends to be a sort of a return of this person as well, as part of you gaining clarity into just what it is that happened and what it is ultimately that you really want to do. So keep all of that in mind as you move forward. With this particular new moon, this new moon takes place at the very beginning of its respective sign, and then after a little period of time begins to speak with Mars. And so, as I said, there's an added sense of passion, but it does look like it's almost as if first the inspiration or the understanding that change needs to happen, that change needs to be initiated comes, and then after a little bit of a breather, then you take action. Then you understand what it is you need to do to empower yourself. So those of you right now in an established bond, it does look like you are going to start a process this month, as I said, that takes you right into next, where you're looking at this person and how much you actually love them. And what is that going to mean to your future? And for some of you, you're going to feel really inspired by this. Maybe somebody who's been there for quite a while, you're reestablishing that connection. But ultimately, there's this element there that where you want to be carried away, and yet there's an element there because Uranus is there as well that isn't going to let you get too carried away without taking an honest examination about just who it is that you are with and what it is that this partnership is going to ask of you, not only now, but in the even bigger picture. Those of you who have somebody in your sphere are also going to be dealing with these exact same questions. It looks like you are feeling very swept away, especially once we get you into the second part of the month. And it looks like you're feeling ready to start fresh with this person and feeling very alive with a sense of connection. And yet there are going to be some realities that need to come forward so that you can make a better choice and you can make a better decision. That might mean moving closer to this person. It might mean moving a different way. But as I said, any decisions you make now are not likely to stick because ultimately this is part of an ongoing process that's going to take you into the fall as well. And so if you feel inspired to start fresh in a new direction, that's fine. Trust that, but allow yourself the flexibility and the fluidity to know that chances are if you're letting go of one person in favor of another, chances are your lessons with that first person are not entirely done just yet, and that's okay. And it's up to you to decide how you're going to proceed with that. You can proceed in a way that allows you to feel strong, allows you to feel ethical as well, while still trusting that the lessons are going to be there for their reasons and that you will learn them as you need to. Those of you who currently don't have somebody in your sphere, the chance of somebody showing up is strongly indicated, if only to get your flirt on. And this ultimately is about you looking at just what it is that you are attracted to, what it is that you physically have a reaction to and why, and getting a clearer understanding on that. And this is ultimately about you deciding what it is that you need to feel a sense of connection and a sense of joy with another person. So as part of that, the likelihood of you attracting somebody in your sphere who can help you to understand these lessons becomes that much more likely. This could also be you being willing to date in a bigger way. And because of the way Mars is positioned, this does suggest to me that you are likely to be very motivated to actually reach out to other people, make more genuine connections, and to actually consider what could be possible for you to actually do. So whether that's actually getting more involved with online activity, strong, that is one possibility, as a more active way to connect with others, that is indicated, or whether it's going to different types of speed dating events. I mean, this is Mars after all, that is also a possibility as well. But regardless, it looks like you are being asked to be more proactive for the experience that you'd like to have where it comes to love. And one thing that you can really do to empower yourself right now is to really expose yourself to more options than you've known before. And this is really so that you can shift your energy and you can feel that dating is fun. You can feel a sense of excitement to meet new people, because it is in that state of spirit that you're more likely to connect with somebody who's really, where there is that strong possibility that it starts out with a sense of fun. And this is somebody with whom you can continue to enjoy your time with for a longer time to come, because you started from that place of fun and lightness and a feeling of abundance and a feeling of options. That's certainly something you can do to empower yourself. And that looks like that's a consideration where you will be thinking, okay, what action can I take to have a greater experience of love, to actually get my flirt on, to actually connect with other people. And that in turn is going to lead you to have some really memorable exchanges, at the very least, that do move you towards greater love as well. One thing is for sure, though, I am very much of the belief that the universe is wise and loving, and the universe is always attempting to move us towards greater love and greater wisdom. And for you, that journey is going to be undeniable now and in the weeks and months to come. The universe does want you to learn about love, learn about joy, learn about being open to possibilities and potential, and to learn about enjoying another person's company, awakening yourself to what love can actually bring into your life. And with that understanding, you certainly are moving towards a greater love than you've known before.